In this video, we talk about the what, why, and how of wireframing. All right, the what. So a wireframe is a visual representation or a mock-up of an interface using only simple shapes. They are void of any design elements such as colors, fonts, or images, and they're used to communicate informational hierarchy, structure of content, and flow of your application or your site. So there are 4 different types of wireframing. There's the user flow, then there is low, mid, and high fidelity wireframes. So user flow wireframe is just a simple visualization of how a user will flow through your site, the different avenues they can take to get to different pages. If they click on certain buttons, where will they go? The next step is a low fidelity wireframe. These are basically a brain dump of your ideas for how the content is going to be laid out. They're used for rapid iteration, and it's usually done with pen and paper. I personally like to use Sharpies because they're nice and thick, and that makes sure I don't get too focused on the details. So at this point, you're focused 100% on the structure of the content. So a mid-fidelity wireframe is a refinement of your low-fidelity wireframes. It's at this point that you want to start making decisions on hierarchy as well as importance of content, and also start making decisions on stuff like, should I use a single column grid or should I use a 2-column with sidebar? What sort of grid system should I use for my images, etc. But it's important just use shading at this point. Still no color. Everything is in grayscale. So that brings us to high fidelity wireframes. These are as close as you'll get to the final mockup of your app or your site without actually jumping into Photoshop or Sketch and figuring out the colors and images and all that sort of thing. So at this point, you can start adding actual copy and icons if you have them, but still do not do anything with color. Just use grayscale and don't use images. Well, we talked about what wireframing is, but why should you do them? Well, for one, wireframing allows you to spot any potential issues in the structure or flow of your website before you spend hours crafting the look and the feel of the final design. It's much easier to change a wireframe than it is to change the final mockup. And 2, it helps you as well as forces you to define your goals and priorities for your application or your website. For example, are you trying to sell a product or is your goal to educate? Do you have a large amount of content to lay out? Wireframing will help you answer all of those questions. All right, so now for the fun part. I'm going to take you through how to wireframe. We're going to go through each of the 4 steps, and I'm going to use a real-world example. I'm going to use week 1 of my 12 and 12 challenge, how to build a Reddit application, and I'm going to take you through as if I was going to redesign that site. So for this demo, I'm going to be using a wireframing kit that I created, which if you're interested, it's available at mckinseychild.me/wireframe. But if not, you can use stuff like Balsamic or Mockingbird or Mockflow. It doesn't really matter what you use as long as you actually wireframe, because it is a very important step in the design process. So without procrastinating any longer, let's jump in and I will show you how to begin wireframing. Alright, so let's begin with the user flow wireframe. I'm going to be using Illustrator for this demo, but you can use Photoshop, Sketch, or whatever program you want to follow along. So I'm going to open up the Illustrator. I already have created a document. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the user flow kit that I created. As you can see, there are about 60 plus different pages to choose from. The idea here isn't to get too caught up in what the structure or the layout looks like. Just find one that closely or kind of represents what that page will look like or function as, and then just mock up how the user will flow through your site. So to begin, I'm just going to select a few of these and copy them over. So, whoops. Let's see what else. I'm going to copy these arrows too. Then also some forms for the login, and then maybe the contact page as well as the link submission page. I'm going to grab this one as well. I think that should be good for now. Let's copy those, paste them in. And let me just rearrange these real quick. There we go. All right. So to begin, let's think about the various pages we want. I know I want a home page. Actually, let me change the font real quick. Make it all caps. There we go. So I want a home page. Also want a link submission page, edit link page, an about page, a contact page, also a sign in and sign up page. So these that looks good for now. Let's start with the home page. So I'm going to convert these to outline and then ungroup them and then regroup each individual line, just so I can use them individually. All right, so the home page. I'm going to start with one that represents the home page. So let's move these to the side. So I was thinking the links, this could represent an image and a link for the submission, but I also want a navigation in there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this one, and then I'm going to go into this and then copy that navigation. And then let's go here and paste that in. And I'm double clicking to go inside the group. So let's delete that one. This one will represent the home page. So I'm going to add that right there. So let's grab some arrows. First, I want to resize all these so they work a little better. I'm going to copy these two. So this one represents when a user enters the site as the starting location. So what I'm going to do is use the direct select tool and just grab the anchor points on these and make that a little bigger. And then I'm going to write out some text, say user enters site or user enters application. So let's make each of those its own line. Convert that to outlines as well. Looks pretty good. And then, so this is the home page. If they scroll down, I want them to obviously see more links. So let's just add one for the scroll and then use the up and down arrow so they can, to represent that they can scroll up and down between those pages. From here, they can also sign in and sign up, which is what these two pages represent. So if they go to the sign in page, let's see, where's that text? Sign in and sign up. So I'm just going to use the arrows. These ones represent the starting point, so I'm going to copy that. So if they start from the home page, let's move the anchors a bit. And then I'm going to grab this arrow right here and then transform it and reflect horizontally so it goes upside down. That looks pretty good. So this represents that they start at the home page and then they enter the sign in page. I'm going to also do the same for the sign up page. And then I'm just going to grab these two anchor points and I'm going to extend those over to the sign up. So that looks pretty good. You know what? This text color is bugging me. So I'm going to change this just to use the eyedrop tool, change that lighten it up, make it match a bit more. And also the size of it. Let's grab all of them and shrink it down a bit. Hold shift to keep the proportions the same. All right, that looks better. Now let's grab these three, move them up. There we go, that looks good. All right, so next we also want the contact and about page. So this one represents, or can represent, the about page, and then this one the contact page. So those look good for now. Let's add the about above that and the contact here. There we go. Let's also add the arrows. And then I'm going to grab the anchor points and drag that over. Beautiful. So from the home page, they can access the sign in, sign up, about, and contact, as well as scroll up and down for more submissions. From the sign in page, let's think about this. From the sign up or sign in page, you'd also want a link to the sign up in case they are not signed up just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and put it down below. And then I'm going to put an anchor. Let's take this one, start here, and then take the arrow and flip it over. Beautiful. Let's line that up a bit. There we go. So it represents that they can access the sign up page from the sign in page. In addition to that, let's move these arrows to the side. They would be able to access or go to the sign or new link submission page and edit link once they're signed up or signed in. So let's grab a page that represents that. Maybe this one we can convert it a bit. Let's copy that, paste it in, and then I'm going to double click to go inside the group and just delete this side text. And then, whoops, let's copy these and just center it in the middle. That looks pretty good. So this could be the new link submission page. Let's grab the text for those. And then also there would be another page, which would be the edit page. So I'm going to add that to the side. Then I'm going to take these arrows, flip it horizontally and shrink it a bit, just to represent that you can go back and forth between those pages. And then another arrow. Let's move this down a bit. There we go. So from the about page, we probably want a link to contact us, maybe within the actual text. So let's add another contact page down here. Just line it up with the one over here. And let's add a title, contact page. And let's grab this thing. Beautiful. I don't think that's quite lined up. There we go. That's looking pretty great. So obviously this application isn't too complicated, but that's looking pretty good. So, oh, you know what I totally forgot is the, whoops, submission page. So Reddit has, if you click on the comments, you'll go to the actual page with all the comments. So let's go to the user flow kit and grab something that represents the comments. This one may do that. Let me copy that. See if there's a better one. That one's good enough. Let's paste that in. So I'm going to add this to the side here. Then I'm going to do that, add some arrows. Then I'm just going to write, this would be the link show page. So let's do that. I'm just going to make it the same size as the others. There we go. And let's match the color as well. Beautiful. All right, so now user enters the site. They can click on the links and go to the new site, or they could click on the comments and go to the link show page. If they're not signed in, they have the ability to go to the sign in page or the sign up page. And then from there, they can submit a new link or edit a link. And also they can go to the about page from the home page, as well as the contact page. And then they can access the contact page from the about page. So this all looks pretty great. From here, I'm just going to delete these. So now you have something very nice and simple to show your client or your boss that represents the flow of your site or your application. And you'll definitely get brownie points because it's very nice looking. Obviously, it does not need to be this fancy. You could do it with pen and paper or whatever you want. But this does look very nice and professional moving forward. So from here, let's just grab the artboard and move it a bit. There we go. You could export this as a JPEG or a PDF and then send it off to your client or boss for approval or for feedback. So from here, we are going to move on to the low fidelity wireframes. All right, so now for the low fidelity wireframe, we're going to begin just use a pen and a Sharpie, and we're just going to try to get out as many ideas as we can for the various pages. So to start, let's start with the home page. So I will write homepage / index. Whoops. All right, and I'm just going to start sketching out some layout ideas. So I'm going to make a box, maybe do a navigation, and just do an image and a link. Maybe do another one. Maybe we should do one with a an image for the banner. Maybe a title, subtitle, sign up button. Let's put an image in the background. And then we could do the image and links below. Let's try one more. Maybe let's do that one like the same, but without an image, just a title, subtitle, and a button. Now, what if we don't want a single column? What if we want a sidebar? So we could add a sidebar, add maybe categories in it, and then the links and the titles, or images and the links. Now, what if we have an image for each link, and instead of showing the titles, we just show maybe logo, navigation. We could do maybe a 3-column grid with images. Something like that might be cool. What about a really funky one with a image gallery? Let's do the logo, navigation. Could do a big image and then something like that might be cool. All right, what if we want a single column grid but images full width? So we could do something like, and then put a link and a description. So again, the idea here is just to get out as many ideas as you can to see what you like and what you don't, what works, what doesn't. Now what if we do the same thing but reversed? So have the images on this side with the link, everything floated right. That might be pretty cool. Now, what if we don't want the navigation up top? What if we want it on a sidebar instead? So we could do something like logo up here, navigation links, then we could do the links, image, and link. All right, maybe let's try something down here. Let's do the same logo on the side. What if we just want images? Sort of like this one. What if we do the same thing, but we have an image with a link and a description? Alright, so after I do this, I usually do as many ideas as I can think of, and then I go through and I star the ones that I want to explore further. For example, I like this one. I like the one with the sidebar as well. And then I like the idea of maybe doing a fixed sidebar. So let's do one right here. Alright, I'm going to move this to the side. Then let's try doing another page. For example, we're going to do a link submission page. So I'm going to do new link page. Then let's just try out some ideas for the page with the inputs. Get the logo, navigation. Maybe we could do a file form, title, and a description box, and then the button. Maybe another. We could do the first two inputs side by side, maybe. And one big one down below, and then the button right here. Now, what if we didn't do a, what if we did one of those drag and drop image uploads? So we could do a big image thing, put an upload, then maybe a title and a description box, and then put a button down here. Now, what if we went a completely different route? What if we didn't want a separate page for the new link? What if instead we did something like a light box? We could have various things, and then everything else could be grayed out. So I think you get the idea. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time at this point just because it would make this video hours long. But I normally go through each individual page and just get out as many ideas as I can. And then from there, I star the ones I like. And then for the I move on to the low fidelity or the mid fidelity wireframes, and I explore those further. All right, so for the mid fidelity wireframes, let's begin by creating a new document, which I already did. And then I'm going to grab the browser template, copy that, and paste it in. So I'm just going to leave it as is for now. But when we were doing the low fidelity wireframes, the sketches, I really like the idea of using a sidebar. So I'm going to start by doing that. Let's see, I'm going to copy over this, the comments, and then I'm going to tweak that into the image and links. But for now, let's just right click, ungroup those, delete that. That looks pretty good. And then I'm also going to duplicate that and resize it for the sidebar. There we go, and I'm going to change the border radius individually. There we go, that looks pretty good. So obviously, let's just grab some navigation as well. So I'm going to grab one that represents the logo and buttons. So let's copy that and change the color to go over the sidebar. That looks pretty good. Then for the navigation, let's change the color as well. Let's make a few different links. And let's make them different sizes to represent the different text. Then also let's add a button for the sign up as well. And then I'm going to select all of this, just the sidebar, and I'm going to center it. There we go. Beautiful. So that's looking pretty good. From here, I'm going to want the image. I'm not sure I want a circle image, so I'm going to go back to my wireframe kit, and I'm going to select just a regular square image. Paste that in. Let's delete that. So maybe we want, let's grab some text as well. So maybe we want the title and a quick description. Then we could also have a few buttons, maybe for like the category or the date or something. Let's just make that a bit smaller. There we go. So let's group all of those together and then duplicate it. So when a user lands on the site, they will see the various links along with the supporting images, and then they'll be able to click that to go to the different link or the show page, and then they can click the different links to go to like the about page, contact page, or the sign up, sign in, etc. from the sidebar. Let's explore a few different options for this too. So I'm going to select everything, keep the sidebar as is, but let's change this to maybe do a 2-column grid instead. shrink this all down a bit. That's not too bad. I kind of like that. It is a bit visually heavy, so maybe this isn't the best option to go with. Let's think about what else we could do. Maybe we don't want the sidebar. Let's try one of the other favorites from the low fidelity wireframes. Let's grab the navigation and the logo. Let's paste that in. And then this, let's extend to the edges. Beautiful. So I'm going to grab the bottom anchor points and make this a bit taller so we have some room to work with. All right, so I liked the idea of having a title and subtitle. So I'm going to grab a header with some text. Let's grab this centered one. Let's paste that in. There we go. Let's make the title a bit bigger. And then maybe just 2 lines. Oh, that looks good. Let's also add a call to action button. So let's go to the buttons in the wireframe kit. I like the outline one, but it should probably match the one in the header. So let's grab this one instead. There we go. And then let's grab this line and duplicate it to add some spacing. And center all of that. Beautiful. Then from here, let's think about what we could do. I like the idea of doing an image with just text, a single column, so it's nice and clean. So I'm going to grab the comment and then tweak it a bit. So let's keep the title and these for the description, and then let's get rid of these ones. Oops. And then I'm going to just select the text and shrink it down a bit. And then let's drag it out. Make it a bit wider. All right, so that looks pretty good. Let's duplicate it a bit to represent the various links. And then let's extend this a bit farther. We could have maybe, let's see, 6 or 7 links per page, and then either a load more button or pagination. I kind of like a load more button, so I'm going to go back to the buttons. Let's grab the outlined one, and let's put it down here. And then if they don't select that, I want to have some bottom navigation for the footer. So I'm going to copy this. There we go, but let's move this up top. And let's extend this down just a tiny bit more. That looks great. But I'm not sure I want all of these links down here. Maybe instead of that, let's just copy a line for the copyright info. So let's make it a bit smaller so it's not so prominent. But we still have the logo over here as well. There we go, that looks pretty good. So if they land on the site, they'll see a title, subtitle, call to action to sign up. Then below that, there'd be the various links from all the users, and then a load more button, and then a footer until they click that to generate more links. I kind of really like this. I think I like it more than the sidebar one. So I'm going to just delete these and we're going to explore this a bit more. So normally we would go into each individual page and explore different options and different routes. And then you'd want to get feedback from clients or from your team. And then just further focus and narrow down the page until you guys have something you are happy with and that works for the business as well as the end user. But for this demo, I'm just going to focus on the home page just so we can keep the length of this tutorial a bit shorter. But you guys get the idea, and you can take this and extend the same concept to each of the various pages on your app or your website. So from here, I'm really happy with the way this looks. So I'm gonna copy all this, and then let's do the high fidelity wireframe. So all we're gonna do for this is we're gonna input some actual copy and see what it looks like and see if we're still happy with it. So let's say the best links on the web, and then maybe center this. There we go, that looks good. Let's try making it bold. And then let's change the color to match this. Oops. That looks pretty good. Then I'm gonna go to hipsum.co, grab a few lines of filler text, paste that in, and then let's make it regular font and shrink the font size a bit. And shrink it in. That looks pretty good. Let's bump up the leading a bit. And then change the color to match. That's looking pretty good. I'm liking how that's coming out. And then let's change this to maybe sign up now. Maybe, what's a good call to action? Get started? No, we'll just say sign up. There we go, that looks pretty good. Now let's try and see what the links look like. So let's add some text. Actually, let's just copy this and then make it left justified. There we go. 12 in 12 challenge. And then this guy built 12 applications in 12 weeks to teach himself Ruby on Rails. Check it out. Then let's delete this. This is obviously a bit too big, so let's shrink that down. Let's shrink this as well. And then let's bring the leading down on this a bit. That looks better. Let's do the same down below. I'm just going to grab some filler text for the rest of these. Narwhal Distillery hashtag. I like that. That looks great. And then let's grab a few lines for the description. Let's copy and paste a few more. Whoa. Not supposed to do that. Hold shift to make sure it stays properly aligned. There we go. but I didn't make that the same spacing. So let's redo it one last time. There we go. And then if you select everything and then go to the distribute spacing vertical, it will align those perfectly. Great. So now let's change this one. Just change the text to load more. And let's center that. Create outlines. Change color to match the button. And lastly, let's change the copyright and actually write @copy 2015 errata all rights reserved, or whatever people usually put in the copyright. Shrink that down a bit. So now you can see it's starting to take shape a bit more. You can tell once it has actual copy in it whether this is the correct way to go about laying out the page, or if there is a better way to go about it. But as you refine each step, or refine the wireframe with each step, you can make decisions as you go along. From here, you could take this wireframe into Sketch or Photoshop and then start playing with the typography, find the perfect font for your site and the colors, images, etc. Just get the overall branding and design not nailed down. But by doing the wireframe before you jump into Photoshop or Sketch, this gives you a great foundation to build upon as you go through and build out the final design for your application. All right, guys, with that, we are finished with this wireframe tutorial. I hope you found this as a good overview for what wireframing is, why you should do it, and how to begin. If you are interested in picking up the wireframe kit that I created and used in this tutorial, you can find that at mckinseychild.me/wireframe. And if you're interested in following along for more, just subscribe below. Or if you have any questions or comments, hit me up on Twitter. It's @mckinseychild, and my website, mckinseychild.me. All right, see you guys next time.